John Randall. We haven't mentioned him a lot tonight.
No. You know, this is what Emmitt Smith has seen a lot of tonight, Vern. There's a lot of purple jerseys right when he gets the ball. Ed McDaniel, number 58, gets some help from Randall, and Harlan Barnett, the strong safety.
We come to you from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Vern Lundquist and Pat Hayden. The Cowboys trailing by 1. A missed extra point, the difference. They got a second and goal. Here's Aikman, quick setup. Luke Johnson, they scored on this last week against Denver. This time he gets it down to the 4-yard line.
Is he alone? I mean, he should have been stopped about 6 yards prior to where he did. We talked about Johnston doing the subtle things to help you win football games. He's the man in motion, number 48. It's a simple little pass. The accurate throw allows him to do something with the ball after the catch. If you force the running back to adjust the ball, you can't do anything. But it was such a perfect throw, he could do something with the ball after the catch.
3rd and goal from the 3.
Now they were going to try to run that one in.
There's Ed Hockley.
Timeout, Minnesota, before the ball was snapped. That's their first charge team timeout.
Not sure why they did it, but they did it. We'll be back.
We're proud to announce that lease terms on the 1995 Trooper are not only the lowest they've been all year, but at $299 a month and 0 down, they're really something to think about. Like, how do you actually put 0 down? And if you put 0 down, how does anyone know you really put it down? And if you wash your pants with 0 down in the pocket, will you find it later in the dryer? It's a paradox inside of a riddle wrapped in an enigma.
At Riders Jeans and Casual Clothes, we studied hundreds, thousands of regular folks to learn their shapes and sizes. And then designed jeans that give them a great-looking fit. You'll find it's like we knew your size exactly, somehow. Riders Jeans, cut to make real people look real good.
So the Nittany Lions of the Fighting Irish have given us another great college football game. And here are 2 tired generals looking for each other at midfield.
Tough break, Joe. Yeah, I know. The tie's too much. It's nice, but maybe next time something in a crew neck. How'd you think that'd be too casual?
Collect a Burger King Legends of College Football Cup. Free when you upsize your Whopper value meal for just 39 cents.
Look, Joe, it's not the end of the world. Next cup, think pastel.
8:06 to go, 3rd quarter, and the Cowboys facing a 3rd down and 3. They got here on the legs of Emmitt Smith, a 45-yard scamper. Gave them a 1st and goal. They're now looking at 3rd and goal from the 3.
And a week ago against Denver, they ran a little pick play, and Daryl Johnston caught the ball out in the right flat and scored on it.
Aikman drops at the goal line. It's 4th down. Coach Fazio, Minnesota defensive assistant, looks on.
Yeah, pretty good play there by Corey Fuller again, Vern. I mean, tested the rookie, and Corey Fuller responded one more time. First, you try to put the pressure on Aikman, but it was very good protection. Throwing darts.
And the reaction on the sideline of the Cowboys. Kendall Watkins, back up tight end. Here's Boniol. He missed the extra point. Novacek with the hold. Whoa!
It's unbelievable.
Whoa!
Boy. Uh-oh.
My goodness.
That's 2 of them.
He missed an extra point.
Looked like a good snap. It was a good hold. That's on the kicker. That's not the snapper or the holder. That's on the kicker.
It's still 10-9 Vikings.
We're proud to announce that lease terms on the 1995 Trooper are not only the lowest they've been all year, but at $299 a month and 0 down, they're really something to think about. Like, how do you actually put 0 down? And if you put 0 down, how does anyone know you really put it down? And if you wash your pants with 0 down in the pocket, will you find it later in the dryer? It's a paradox inside of a riddle wrapped in an enigma.
This guided missile is brought to you by Ken Norton and his Reebok NFL Pro Line jacket, who remind you that players are made in the preseason.
How to achieve success.
For me, it's the details. In golf, that means taking it one stroke at a time. And at Jiffy Lube, we do it one car at a time. And we offer the quality of Pennzoil. So even though we've serviced almost 100 million cars, the one that matters most is the one we're working on now.
If it doesn't say Jiffy Lube, it just isn't Jiffy Lube.
Time now for the Isuzu Play of the Day. It's courtesy James Hasty of the Chiefs. In the Raiders-Chiefs game at Amazing Isuzu Play of the Day.
Well, right here, the practically amazing Dallas Cowboys have self-destructed. We've had 3 or 4 drops, a fumble from Emmitt Smith, and Cris Boniol with a missed extra point and a missed 20-yard field goal. 10-9, Minnesota. First and 10 Vikings. Warren Moon will hand it off to Robert Smith. He does have that glider style, doesn't he?
And again, because of that and that long stride and the angular body, people just really, I think they're fooled by his speed, and because of that, they don't take the right angle and they miss him. He overruns, or people overrun him or underrun him. Now, what the Vikings desperately need this year is a runner they can depend upon all season. And tonight, or actually this season, Robert Smith has been that guy. And if they can develop him as a threat, this could be a pretty good Viking team.
Smith has 60 yards on 13 carries now, 2nd and 1. He goes right. Clayton Holmes and Dixon Edwards decide to treat him like he's in a rodeo.
You know, it's kind of surprising, speaking of Clayton Holmes, who made that tackle, that the Vikings really haven't tried working on him. He's a replacement for Kevin Smith. Played very well last week against Denver. John Elway did test him 3 times. He responded all 3. But the Vikings have been working on Larry Brown and not Clayton Holmes.
They did get the touchdown off Clayton Holmes. Jake Reed caught it in the first half. 10-9, 6:44 to go, 3rd quarter. Draw play, Smith. Robert Smith, the #1 draft choice 2 years ago in '93, suffered a torn anterior cruciate ligament late in the rookie season, and so was really limited last year in his year of recovery to 3rd down plays. He then had a contract holdout this summer, something new in sports, and something unusual, and came in late, but really has played very well in the first 3 games. Here's Dixon Edwards getting helped off.
Robert Smith is kind of an interesting guy. You know, has a lot of off-the-field interest as well.
There is life outside of football.
Knows the difference between a gerund and a participle.
Good, he can teach me. That pass is good to the 40. Amp Lee, number 32. Robert Jones, the middle linebacker, a part of the tackle.
You don't know?
No.
Gerunds and participle?
I was absent that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I weren't paying attention. And Amp Lee is the kind of the receiver out of the backfield, and he has to fight through his own guys and then find the window to the quarterback. I mean, it's a small little gain, but Amp Lee had to do quite a bit to gain those few yards.
Dangling participle was a Simon and Garfunkel platoon.
Yeah. Oh, man. You're getting yourself now, pal.
3rd and 1. Amp Lee. That should be enough for a 1st and 10 Minnesota at their own 45. Darren Woodson made the tackle. Hey, we've got 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. And if you just tuned in, Minnesota leads this thing by 1.
Yeah, and they deserve to lead this thing by 1 because they have played very well. Their defense has played well, And when they've had to have these tough little inside runs, they've either gotten them from Robert Smith or this time Ampli. Breaks an arm tackle. And they convert on another first down, or they get another first down. And the time of possession becomes more and more of a factor for the Vikings.
David Palmer's in the lineup, number 22. They fake the reverse to him. Warren Moon flips it out to Robert Smith. And it's incomplete. Now let's take a look at the Coors Light scoreboard. 49ers roll in the second half. Denver, Rod Smith with a great catch off an Elway pass. San Diego comes back and defeats Philadelphia. Green Bay wins in a tussle with the Giants. Arizona came from behind to win.
They did by Harrison Hurst.
Yeah.
22 yards. Biggest day as a pro.
Emmitt Smith resting for the moment. Second down and 10, 10-9. Minnesota leads. Into the flat caught by Andrew Jordan, number 89, and that'll bring up another third down. The Vikings are 6 of 11 on third down conversions tonight.
Well, and part of that is because of what they've done on first and second down, Vern. They're not getting themselves in a lot of third and longs. I mean, they're dinking the ball here, running the ball there, and they find themselves a lot, I think, in third and 4 or less. Now, here's a third and probably about 5 or 6. But they've won the first and second downs, and that's the big reason.
Third and 5, 10-9, Minnesota. Straight four-man front. Moon back across the middle. Hit. Robert Jones, number 55, the middle linebacker, got a hand up.
And that's a good play, because I think Warren Moon had something going down the middle. That ball was thrown with some velocity. It was thrown with some direction. And Robert Jones, who's 6'2", gets a hand on it. Yeah, boy, that could have been a touch. That could have been a touch to Ampli. Big play by Robert Jones.
That brings on Mike Saxon. Kevin Williams waits for the return at the 10-yard line. They come. Mike Saxon leads the league and punts down inside the 20. It was Brock Marion who almost got there and who is stretched out in an injured position at the 40-yard line. Here's how close Marion came. Time has been called. We'll be right back.
Have you seen the new 95 Fords? We're talking about the new Ford Taurus, the great-looking new Mustang, and the stylish Lincoln Town Car. If you love the finest in American-made automobiles in the Grand Touring tradition, these powerful and luxuriously appointed vehicles are available to you now at Marine Myers Ford in Corbin. Marine Myers Ford in Corbin has all the new Fords now in stock. Come by and test drive any new Ford and experience the difference in driving a quality automobile. Marine Myers Ford in Corbin, your authorized hometown Ford dealer.
At First National Bank of Corbin, there's a good reason we're the strongest financial institution in the region. Complete dedication to serving our customers and delivering quality financial products for your checking, car, boat, and home loan needs. First National customers know they can expect innovative products with old-fashioned service. Look to First National Bank of Corbin for all your needs, because when it comes to banking, we're at your service.
For that just right piece of furniture, Corbin Furniture at 615 South Main Street in Corbin may have exactly what you need. Beautiful sectionals, dining room tables, poster beds with matching chests, and recliners. Corbin Furniture has over 10,000 square feet of showroom floor filled with beautiful and affordable furniture for your home. You can find what you need at Corbin Furniture. Stop by today.
When you had to...
I must admit there are times (10-9) Minnesota, 3:25 to go third quarter. Sometimes I talk when I shouldn't, and sometimes I don't talk when I should. I'm going to learn. But here's Johnny Lever. I've known John as an assistant coach for 4 different teams in 15 years. He says the Cowboy offensive line is the best offensive line he's ever seen in the NFL. Pretty good testimony. That catch is made at the 24-yard line. John was a coach at New Orleans, the Chicago Bears, most recently with the Denver Broncos. He just came over as the new line coach of the Minnesota Vikings, and before the game he said this offensive line is out.
And I think one of them's injured.
Whoops. Calf muscle.
Yeah,
that's big Eric Williams.
And big is right. All 322 pounds of him.
And that is a concern, Barry Switzer. Things thus far have not gone the way he'd like. We'll be right back.
We're out of here. No, please keep your hands in the cart. We'll come back to that later. That one needs battery. You're going to get Daddy in trouble. Excuse me? No, that one definitely has too many parts. We got to go.
Right now, we're offering some of the best prices of the year on our 1995 rodeos.
I got it!
Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies. Tap the Rockies!
Wow, how'd they do that?
Pennzoil introduces Performax 100. 100% synthetic at a breakthrough price.
100% synthetic at a price this low? How'd they do that?
Leave it to Pennzoil to make synthetic affordable.
How'd they do that?
Hey, there's more. An extra $6 rebate on a case. Or $6 off on an oil change by the pros.
How'd they do that?
Engine problems? Before you try a tune-up, try Gum Out first. The solution could be less than $5.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Minnesota Vikings and the National Football League is prohibited.
I'll bet they know the difference in a gerund and a participle.
That's right.
That's probably what they're talking about. Eric Williams on the sidelines. Ron Stone has taken his spot to the 65. There's Emmitt Smith to the 25, maybe the 26. It'll be third down, 2:40 to go. Third quarter. Ed McDaniel, number 58.
So the Cowboys, as this third quarter winds down, have always been a very good fourth quarter team. And a lot of that is because they've had great depth, and they're fresh in the fourth quarter. Some of that depth is gone, and it remains to be seen if they're going to be as good a fourth quarter team this year.
Ron Stone is one of those backups. Corey Fleming is in on third down and 2. Four-man Viking rush. Pass is caught by Novacek to the 35. That's another first down.
Ron Stone did his job on Roy Barker that time. I mean, if you don't have, 15 guys on offense and come in and fill in at spots. At tight ends, that's number 65 is Stone. Again, granted, he's just going to push Roy Barker right past the quarterback, but that's all he has to do. Barker's momentum really took him out of the play.
Ron Stone, a third-year man from Boston College, a fourth-round draft choice in '93. First and 10 Dallas after the 9-yard gain. 10-9 Minnesota. Johnson, a rare moose call. And Nate Newton helps lead the way. Newton, who told us yesterday that he is the sexiest, prettiest 320-pounder in the league.
Well, I wasn't going to argue with him.
No, nor agree with him.
But you know what? Everybody makes fun of his size. He's a very quotable, likable guy, but he's a pretty good football player, too.
Yes, he is.
He really is. He's part of that offensive line that's been playing together for a long time. Part of this unit that's played together for a long time.
Second down. Second and 6. Aikman across the middle deep. Oh, what a sandwich.
Man.
They popped Novacek pretty good. Harlan Barnett, who played last year in New England, and Charles Mincy, who played last year at Kansas City.
Well, Vern, this is only the third game we've done this year, but this is the best defensive effort I have seen this year, and that's by the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, they're shutting down some pretty good weapons of the Cowboys. And Emmitt Smith had one big run, but other than that, they've done a pretty good job on Emmitt. They've taken away Novacek. Michael Irvin did catch the touchdown, but he only has 6 catches.
And it's 3rd and 6 now. Final minute, 3rd quarter. Aikman, right side for Kevin Williams, incomplete. Corey Fuller, who's done a dandy job at left corner tonight. How about the rookie?
He has played great. Never intimidated. Bottom of the screen, number 27. They're going right after him, and they want it all on this play. Stumbles a little bit early in the play. They didn't call that pass interference because they felt it was not catchable. And Kevin Williams has not caught a ball tonight. I think this team right now misses the big plays of Alvin Hartman.
John Jett is on the punt. David Palmer waits for it. That one sails. Palmer with a fair catch. Huge punt by John Jett. And the Vikings take over following the Palmer fair catch at their own 10-yard line. Coming up after the game, TNT presents a tribute to a quarterback who led the 49ers to 4 Super Bowl victories. Watch a special encore presentation of Joe Montana, The Fire Inside, tonight on TNT.
It's the best I ever saw, Joe Montana. I mean, this guy was so good in big games. And I think you measure quarterbacks like the number of championships they win and how many times they bring their teams behind, and he did as well as anybody.
1st and 10, Minnesota.
And between us, we've won 4 Super Bowls.
And 1 road scholarship. Reed. Wow, somebody got a hand up, and Larry Brown makes the tackle. I thought it was going to be blocked. Jake Reed.
That is a first down, Jake. And that's a big play. And everybody's so concerned about Cris Carter, you forget that they have another big play receiver on the other side. Hands up with Charles Haley, gets his hands up, but he had Larry Brown beaten early in that route. And he uses his, you had to use your size and position as well, and he did. That's a big play by Jake Reed. They needed him tonight, and he has been there tonight.
Reed has caught 5. The Vikings lead with a quarter to play. We'll be back in the Metrodome after this.
Chances are it will outlast your car and your furnace and your roof. There's no telling what your Moen faucet might outlast. Moen. Buy it for looks. Buy it for life. Stihl, maker of the #1 selling brand of chainsaw worldwide, also makes a full line of blowers. Just what you need when it seems like fall will never end. Available in Stihl territory, starting at $59.95.
This two-man huddle is brought to you by Emmitt Smith and his Brutus Mid, who remind you that players are made in the preseason.
Only Embassy Suites hotels give you a suite with 2 big rooms, a free cook-to-order breakfast, and evening beverages on the house. Because only Embassy Suites is twice the hotel. Call 1-800-EMBASSY.
I cannot believe we're going to this game.
Come on! Game starts in 20 minutes! And here we go! Rebound! Oh, my. Woo! I'm coming! What is it there? He's looking good!
What?
Let's go.
Be a fan, not a fanatic. Look your best in Lee Sport official NFL apparel, licensed by the NFL, NHL, NBA, and Major League Baseball. Lee Sport, the brand for fans like you.
Good news for the Chris Hinton family. The injury, the x-rays rather, were negative. He went to the bench in the locker room in the first half with a knee injury, but looks like he's going to be okay. Chris Hinton, the right guard of the Vikings. His team leads it 10-9 as we start the final quarter. Here's Robert Smith. There's a tough run of 5 yards. Eric Williams strained left calf. He will not return for the remainder of the night.
And you mentioned Chris Hinton being out. His replacement's Everett Lindsay, and he's playing over Russell Maryland. Now, Dave Campbell, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, was saying to us this week that Russell Maryland is his best fourth quarter player.
David Dixon is now in, number 71, at right guard. He's an interesting story. Flags are down. Robert Smith out to the 46.
Got the better of Russell Maryland there.
There's David Dixon, number 71, Pat, from New Zealand. Came to the States. He was a rugby player. He played at a Mormon school, Ricks College in Idaho, and then transferred down to Arizona State. Hasn't played football all that much. He was on the practice squad of the Cowboys in 1993.
As a defensive player.
Right.
Yeah.
David Dixon. Now, he is, as they say, or we are saying more often, yes. He is a gerund and a participle together.
Right tackle jump in the neutral zone. Your penalty results in a first down.
That, don't you? Yeah.
I think I'm
Look that up next week. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
A gerund is a verb that acts like a noun and ends in ing. Participle is a verb that acts like an adjective and ends in several suffixes.
You are welcome to the continuing education.
Just thought you'd be interested, you know. Now you know.
First, I do. I hope I don't forget, because I'll hear about it again. First and 10. Moon Fox goes deep for Reed. Overthrows him. Clayton Holmes covering. Jake Reed.
There it is.
Which is boil, double trouble.
Yeah.
All right. See, you wanted to know how you make lutefisk.
This is it, huh?
Well, it's codfish soaked in lye for a long, long time. Then you boil, you put it in ice, you bring it indoors.
And what do you do with it?
You put a newt's eye in there.
Then what do you do with it?
If you're stupid, you drink it. If you're stupid, you eat it.
No thanks.
Second and 10. Oh, boy, it'll be third and 10 at the 50. Jake Reed's made a lot of big plays tonight, but he probably should have had that one.
And one of the few times that the Vikings find themselves in a third and long, a third and 10. And this is where Charles Haley and Tony Tolbert on the outside can really put some heat on the quarterback. So on third and 10, you better make sure you get Haley blocked. And even it means keeping it back in the chicken.
Todd Stussy goes against Haley. Corey Stringer against Tony Tolbert. Third and 10. Shotgun. They stunt. Four-man rush. Moon goes deep left side for Carter. Overthrows him into the Cowboy bench area.
Okay, the key thing here, Noah, for Mike Saxon, the punter of the Vikings, do not punt this ball in the end zone. You know, you can pin them back there inside the 20 and give your defense good field position, but do not give them a freebie to the 20-yard line.
Mike Saxon was a Cowboy punter for a long time when he came to the club from San Diego State in '85. He still lives in the Dallas area. Has some golfing buddies up here, as a matter of fact, watching the game. 10-man front. The Cowboys are coming. Saxon.
Oh, they got him.
They got him. That's going to be roughing the kicker. It goes in the end zone, but it doesn't matter.
The Cowboys have blocked 13 punts and kicks over the last 5 years. They did not take a good angle on that one. If you come up the middle, you got to make sure you're going to block it, Vern, because if you don't, you're going to run into the punter.
Joe Avezzano, the special teams coach, said to us last night, we are a special teams unit in a state of transition.
Number 87, Billy Davis.
And number 42, Charlie Williams. That's only the 5-yard variety. It's an adolescent penalty and not the adult version, so it will not be a first down. Wow.
My.
There's Billy Davis.
I thought it was kind of the adult version myself.
I did too.
And one guy goes low, another guy comes high. I mean, you could have really hurt his left leg there, actually, but they're going to punt it again. Again, you can't punt the ball in the end zone. And I don't think they'll come after him this time.
Saxon. Kevin Williams waits at the 10. That's going to be too far.
No, that's a bad punt.
Yep.
Can't punt it in the end zone. That's a bad punt. Just gave the Cowboys 20 yards.
Well, if you're a lip reader, you know how Mike Saxon feels about it. If you're not a lip reader, you probably know as well. Tain't good news.
Lower your right foot and repeat after me. I promise to be free. I promise to be different. I promise to take the other path. I promise to be unique. I promise to drive an Eldorado with a 300 horsepower North Star V8, a suspension that reads faster than Evelyn Wood, and a body that parts traffic. Eldorado with the North Star system by Cadillac.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here
Oh,
doesn't have to be.
And now the starting lineup. That groom from Texas, Billy Clyde Humphrey. And at bride, a 5'6" debutante from Alabama, Nell Peterson. The Humphrey wedding brought to you by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good. The vows are up.
I do?
I do.
And they're good. Whoa, Nelly.
That was beautiful, man.
13:32 remaining in this one. Dallas and Minnesota week 3, and the Cowboys up 10-9. Missed field goal, missed extra point for Dallas. 20-yard field goal, fumble. They've really sputtered offensively, and yet they're only down 1.
Yeah, and the Cowboys are one of those fourth quarter teams. You know, you let them hang around for long enough, and they've got enough weapons that they can knock you out. So, you know, you still, even though Emmitt Smith is struggling, I wouldn't be surprised to give him the ball a bunch of times this fourth quarter and let something good happen. I mean, he's that kind of player. You want to give a guy like that the ball now.
Cowboys take over following the Saxon punt at their own 20-yard line. Troy Aikman for the night, 15 of 27 for 139 yards. 1 touchdown. He's been sacked only once. Total yardage now 219 for the Cowboys, 210 for Minnesota. And 2 big plays, one for either team, a 44-yard run for Robert Smith of the Vikings, a 45-yard run, Emmitt Smith of the Cowboys. Under immense pressure. Wow. Harlan Barnett came on the safety blitz.
This is a really good defensive game plan that Tony Dungy has put together, Vern. I mean, they did it last week against one player, Barry Sanders. This week, they've done it against a whole bunch of great players. Aikman, Smith, Johnson, Irvin, Jay Novacek. I mean, this is as good a defensive game plan as you're going to see, and as well executed defensive game plan as you're going to see.
2nd and 10. Blitz is threatened. Aikman back, left side, caught by Moose Johnson. He's got Donaldson in front, and Johnson all the way out to the 45-yard line.
And they changed the pace. The Cowboys, for the first time tonight, run a finesse play. I mean, they've been a power team most of this evening. They changed the pace. Ernie Zampese calls a little screen pass to the left, perfectly timed. And Daryl Johnston, watch the thing how he makes the last defender miss, too, Bernie. He picks up an extra 8 yards, but he kind of jumps over the last defender and picks up an extra 8 yards. There. Puts his hand down, and that's a nice play. Very good play.
24-yard gain, 1st and 10. Novacek in motion. Here's Emmitt Smith. What does he do but break a tackle, breaks another, and scoots through for a gain of 14 yards. Dwayne Washington makes the tackle.
Yeah, they're going to take care of the nose tackle, number 98, Ezra Tuolo. They just double him, destroy the nose tackle, and that allows Emmitt to jump through. Now, Smith combines power and grace, but it's always the power that comes first.
Emmitt Smith is now 4 yards away from his 37th 100-yard gain. Flags are down.
I tell you, though, it has been a tough 96 yards thus far. I mean, he's had 2 big runs, and he's been kind of stuffed 12 other times.
before the ball was snapped. False start by the offense, number 65. The 5-yard penalty remains first down.
But that's okay. I mean, I think when you talk about Emmitt Smith, great quarterbacks bring their teams from behind, and great running backs exert themselves in the fourth quarter. Emmitt Smith has been a great fourth quarter running back in his career.
Chatting with him last night, he's such a fun man to talk to about his art or his craft. And he said he looks at his effort as a painting. Here's the pass to Johnson, and they get it down inside the 45 to the 43. Just to wrap it up about Emmitt, and we'll be talking about him for the rest of the night. But he said he sees his runs as a series of brush strokes. And then at the end of the night, he gets great pleasure when it's gone well to look back at the whole and realize that it is a thing of beauty. A rather eloquent way of talking about what he does for a living.
Well, he's probably hung very nice pictures in his den because he's had a bunch of beautiful artwork in his 6-year career, and this has been a tough one, but one you can appreciate too.
Aikman back, play action, blitz coming. They go across the middle. There's Novacek, first down at the 28. They are an outstanding fourth quarter team. And this drive began at the 20 following the Saxon punt.
Jay Novacek, number 84, no jam, gets off cleanly. If you're going to slow Jay Novacek down, you've got to jam him at the line of scrimmage. Nobody does. It's he against McDaniel. It's an athletic catch of a well-thrown ball by Aikman, and the Cowboys are on the move.
Novacek, 4 catches, 42 yards. First and 10 at the 28. They fake the toss, and Aikman wants a screen pass left. A flag is down. Here's Novacek. He's got blockers in front and weaves his way inside the 10 to the 5, down at the 1-yard line.
Oh, boy, that was a nice play. Second screen. There are 2 flags down. The second screen they've run to their left on this drive, and both of them have worked magnificently. There'll be a penalty against the Vikings, so they'll have a first down inside the 5.
Offside by the defense, number 93. The penalty is declined. First down.
They give the Cowboys some credit for adjusting. The fake to the pitch to Emmitt, he attracts a crowd. They threw the earlier screen to Johnson, this time to Novacek. You get Michael Irvin screening his guy off, Ray Donaldson powering his guy, and the Cowboys have first and goal.
Emmitt Smith has rushed for a touchdown in 9 consecutive games. That is a Cowboy club record. The Cowboys have a first and goal at the 2 with Emmitt Smith the deep back. Smith. Touchdown, Dallas. Make it 10 games in a row.
They're going to go for 2. I think they should go for 2 here. Yeah. You know, he was upset ever since he fumbled the ball in this football game. I'm talking about Emmitt Smith. But he atoned for it here in the fourth quarter, where he's been a dominant player during his career. That offensive line, this is where you need guys to stay low, just give you a little crease. The good lead block by Johnston. And even though he gets hit, he didn't take the clean shot, spin in midair, and gets the ball in the end zone. And now they go for 2.
Cowboys have never converted a 2-point play. Smith in motion. Now they have.
Boy, is that a good throw. And a good catch. This guy was covered. Novacek was covered. And it starts with a touchdown. They gave him the chance, the 2-point play. A great fourth quarter drive where the Cowboys have always been tough. And the Cowboys have a 17-10 lead.
He was cool and uncanny, but with 1 tick left on the clock, Joe Montana was the comeback kid.
I started young, hating to lose.
Joe Montana, the fire inside. Tonight, after the NFL on TNT.
There's a dealer, yeah, that gives you more. Elton Blakely is the place to go. Our most important customer is you today. With cars and trucks, yeah.
Hard Furniture is celebrating their 50th anniversary of serving southeastern Kentucky. They specialize in solid wood furniture, solid oak, solid cedar, solid cherry, and solid pine. Their anniversary specials include the ever-popular French provincial chairs. Buy a French provincial chair of your choice and get a matching ottoman, a $90 value, absolutely free. Hard Furniture has quality bedding of all sizes. They carry the complete line of Imperial Bedding, one of the nation's largest manufacturers of quality mattresses and box springs. Hard Furniture, you'll love our deals.
Well, look who's here. Herschel Walker and Tony Dorsett, two of the best college football running backs I ever saw. I'll bet you they're swapping some pretty good football stories.
Next time, I'm telling you, Tony, right profile.
Really, Hersch? I've always favored my left, man.
Collect a Burger King Legends of College Football Cup. Free when you upsize your Whopper value meal for just 39 cents.
Touchdown!
You think next time we should wear the helmets?
In my case, the helmet is definitely off.
Cowboys go 80 yards in 7 plays. It took only 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Emmitt Smith gets the touchdown, and he has now scored 77 rushing touchdowns in 80 games. Take a look at the rushing ratio. Jim Brown had 106 and 118, and Emmitt's in that category. Walter Payton, of course, the leader with 110 in 190 games. Here's the kick by John Baker. Cowboys up by 7. David Palmer at the 5. Watch out. Watch out.
He is kind of fun to watch, isn't he? Let's go back to the two-point play because I think this is a remarkable throw and a great catch by Jay Novacek. Now, he is covered. Right there, he's going to be in the middle of your screen right now. He's covered by Broderick Thomas, and the ball was thrown away from the defender. He caught it all hands. That is pretty good. That's throwing darts, and that's catching a pass when you're well covered. And that's 2 points for the Cowboys.
Warren Moon back as a signal caller. And here's Charles Simmons out of the backfield with the catch at the 41. That's a 2-yard pickup, and the defensive job done by Robert Jones.
I think this is an important part of the game for the Vikings. I mean, everybody knows how good the Cowboys are, but you know, the Vikings are in that mass of teams in the NFC. They're trying to prove themselves, and to be able to come back against the Cowboys right now, I think would give them a big lift for the rest of the season and be a real, could be one of those turning points for them.
2nd and 8, 9:13 to go. Boone, Cris Carter can't hang on. Just behind him. In front of Clayton Holmes. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
And twice now in this 4th quarter, Vern, they've gotten themselves in 3rd and long. First 3 quarters, they weren't in 3rd and long, but twice this time they have.
In this half, only 25 yards on the ground for the Vikings, only 45 yards passing the ball. They led 10-9 at the half. Total of 82 yards now. That's current. And you see Dallas has gone out to 175 yards in this half. 3rd and 8. 4-man rush. Boone right side for Reed. And again, pretty good coverage by Clayton Holmes. His coaching staff says Clayton Holmes is the best athlete on the ball club.
Boy, did Tony Tolbert get a hold of Warren Moon. I mean, one of the reasons Clayton Holmes was able to cover Jake Reed that time and do it pretty well is because of the rush of Tony Tolbert. But, you know, Elway tested Holmes 3 times deep last week. Didn't really convert. They test him here. That's pretty good coverage again by Clayton.
Mike Saxon on to punt. The return is on all the way. Saxon, Kevin Williams at the 22. Nice return.
Maybe he should have punted in the end zone.
8:45 remaining in this one. And the Cowboys have assumed command. They are up by 7.
Only one has the moves of Barry Sanders. Only one has his acceleration. Only one has his control. Only one has such breathtakingly perfect balance. Seville STS with the North Star system. A great performer creates a higher standard. Over 25 years ago, Honda built the first ATV. Now we've built our most powerful, the Foreman 400. Where do we go from here? Just about anywhere we want.
At Riders Jeans and Casual Clothes, we studied hundreds, thousands of regular folks to learn their shapes and sizes. And then designed jeans that give them a great-looking fit. You'll find it's like we knew your size exactly, somehow. Riders Jeans, cut to make real people look real good.
8:45 remaining in regulation play. You see one of the number of NFL Films photographers documenting what's going on in this game. They began their efforts in both Dallas and Minneapolis earlier this week for a special 90-minute show that'll be called 6 Days to Sunday. It'll air on TNT on November 8th. They've had complete access to both ball clubs, and I think Denny Green is mic'd during the game. I'm not sure if Barry Switzer is. That'll air November 8th, 1st and 10, Dallas, Aikman, quick setup. Michael Irvin.
And here's where the Cowboy offensive line, I think, can make the difference in the ballgame. Both in the pass protection, as they did there for Aikman, and then running the ball for Emmitt Smith. This is the time when this offensive line can wear you down. Good cut block there by Ron Stone. Allowed the ball to get unimpeded to Michael Irvin.
Michael with 7 catches for 84 yards now, closing in on a 100-yard day. Backs in the arm. Emmitt Smith. He's gone over 100 again. Ed McDaniel with a tackle.
Boy, good trap block there. Real good trap block by Larry Allen, the right guard. What he doesn't see, he feels. He just has a great sense of where people are, where his guys are, where the enemy is, and that's what makes him a one sensational. In fact, the best running back in football today.
Third straight 100-plus game. He's got 109. John Randall. They get a big play on defense. They need a turnover.
Number 93 beats Nate Newton quickly with a speed rush. And once he gets the speed rush going, look out. I mean, Nate Newton had a pretty good day so far against John Randall, but that time John Randall just blew right by him.
That's a loss of 8. It's 2nd down and 18. It's the 2nd sack of the season for Troy Aikman. 2nd tonight. Irvin and Fleming are in. On 2nd and 18. Viking football.
We said at the very beginning of this show the Vikings needed 2 or 3 defensive turnovers to win it. Tony Dungy teams create turnovers. Now, that ball was just a mishandled snap, but nonetheless, the Vikings come up with their 2nd turnover again. I don't think Aikman never touched that ball. It went right through his hands. Ray Donaldson hiked it right through Troy Aikman's hands. See that? Never hit him. Yeah, that was a strange snap. Very strange. And Del Rio comes up with it.
That's the 2nd turnover for the Minnesota Viking defense. They trail by 7. They have the ball at the Cowboys 48. Robert Smith starts right, comes back inside, and runs into Tony Talbert, number 92.
Boy, has he been good as a coordinator here. Look what's happened since 1992 when Tony came here. 17 defensive touchdowns over the past 3 seasons. Interceptions, sacks, takeaways. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Someday there will be a head coaching job.
Yeah, open for him. And it's no accident. That's good coaching and good playing.
James Harris, 99, gets credit for the fumble recovery. It's second down and 9. 6:25 to go. Warren Moon comes right. Caught and dropped. Charles Haley.
Tough time to take a sack.
Second sack tonight for Haley.
Yeah, down by 7 points, and you go from 2nd and 10. If you throw your ball away to 3rd and forever, and you have to account for him. You have to know where he is, and you have to double team him. That was a single block, it looked like, on Charles Haley. And he is a sack waiting to happen. It's Stussy. Gets the single on him. And that's not good. Like a good running back, Charles Haley. Just kind of gave him a hip, took it away, makes a sack.
3rd and 19. 5:55 to go. That was just furious pressure from Leon Lett and friends.
You're right, and it was friends. First, you take care of Charles Haley. This time they double team him with Stussy in the back. Tony Tolbert is going to raise some havoc first, and then he gets some help from Leon Lett. There's Tolbert. Lett finishes him off. But it started because of the concern with Haley, one-on-one on Tolbert, one-on-one on Lett. The result, a sack.
And nothing out of the turnover created on the missed snap. Here's Saxon. That's another returnable punt. Kevin Williams at the 21. He's knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line by Robert Griffith, number 24.
Well, they were looking for a block on the back. I thought it was maybe Anthony Fieldings, number 54 for Dallas. Right there. Yeah, that is a block in the back. It should have been a penalty against Fieldings.
Time has been called.
What you see here is a busy business traveler getting a new telephone. That's because he's staying at Courtyard by Marriott, where when you apply for a new AT&T True Choice calling card, you'll be sent an AT&T Design Line phone. So when you stay at Courtyard, you'll not only leave refreshed for the next business day, you'll have a handy new device for making future reservations, too. For details or reservations, call Courtyard at 800-321-2211.
When I got rid of my gray hair, I wanted a natural look, so I didn't take any chances. I used the sure thing for a natural look called Just for Men.
Apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. It's specially timed to blend away gray. Bring back your natural look and condition hair.
It's a sure thing.
Just for Men, the sure thing for a natural look. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
Got a car, but need an engine? Then come to Pep Boys, where you'll find a huge selection of over 1,200 quality engines for your car or light truck for as low as $699.99. Import or domestic, all have a 12-month unlimited mileage warranty. And you can charge it with your Pep Boys credit card and pay as little as $35 a month. So come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
5:35 remaining in regulation play. The Minnesota Vikings and Warren Moon find themselves trailing by a touch, and they've not had much offensive success last 7 times they've had the ball.
A lot of Mike Saxon, a lot of punts.
And a missed Fuad Reveiz field goal that ended his streak of 31 in a row. Here's Emmitt Smith. Moves it out from the 25-yard line to the 28-yard line. That's his 17th carry. The rushing leader. He was talking with us yesterday. We had an engaging conversation with Emmitt because we laid down ground rules. No Deion Sanders, no discussion of the hamstring, and no mention of November 12th when they play the 49ers.
Exactly
he said,
right.
Folks, I got an hour.
He's coming. He is coming.
2nd down and 6. 5 minutes to go. Smith.
Vern, you know you're a good football team when you can run the ball when the defense expects it. And the Cowboys have been able to do that. They won 2 of their games last year in the fourth quarter. We talked about them being a good fourth quarter team and the best fourth quarter runners right there. Actually, they won 3 in the fourth quarter last year.
What's Ernie doing?
There's some concern there.
He's nervous. I think that may be a cigarette.
There,
got it.
Yeah.
Do I know Zambezi?
Oh, you know smokers.
I used to be one. 3rd and 4. That was an extra long.
Oh, that might be a free one.
Now it's a stub.
Yeah, they're going to get Larry Allen, I think.
False start prior to the snap by the offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
Yeah, you're going to see. What happens, you want to point first in this thing. When this happens, you got to start point first. Barker got the first point in, and the hangdog look there of Larry Allen. When you got that hangdog look, you know you're guilty, you know?
Larry Allen from Sonoma State developed the hangdog look out there. 3rd and 9. 4:10 to go in regulation. Aikman into the flat for Emmitt Smith. Dwayne Washington. It'll be 4th down. The Vikings will get it back.
Well, we're going to have a pretty good finish to this thing. Again, a good pass rush, good coverage, because it was 3rd and long, and it forced Aikman. They forced Aikman to dump the ball off to Emmitt Smith. And that's as good as Emmitt is, that's what you want to have happen on 3rd and very long, a pass in the flat.
David Palmer back to return the John Jett punt. 3.5 and the clock running. 17-10.
They're going to get good field position.
They just should. Dale Hillestray snaps it back. Nice and high. Fair catch called by Palmer. Grabs it at the 44-yard line. So the Minnesota Vikings have 3 minutes and 14 seconds left, and they find themselves 56 yards away from tying this one up or going in front.
Well, we called it a measuring stick game for the Vikings, and you have an experienced quarterback in Warren Moon who's done this before. And if you don't think Warren Moon is a good player, look at the collapse of the Oilers last year after he left. I mean, it kind of proves how long he carried that team. But right now, 2nd year with a new team, 3:14 left. He's got to get the ball in the end zone. He's got to stick it in the end zone.
46.
From the 44, 1st and 10. Amp Lee is in the backfield. He is the pass receiving specialist. Full rush from Calder. Moon heaves it out. Oh, boy. Brock Marion battling Jake Reed and knocked it away.
And they had 3 guys on Charles Haley that time, including Cris Carter. I mean, they had Stussy, they had Carter, watch, and then they had a tight end. And he still gets through them. I mean, that is one determined pass rush.
And Tony Tolbert was also in the vicinity.
Yeah.
Number 92, 2nd down and 10. Tony Tolbert.
Well, they read that one early. You hear the defensive guys calling draw, draw, draw?
Russell Maryland.
Yeah, the 4th quarter player, Russell Maryland.
Coming up next, the Steel postgame report. We'll have scores and highlights from all the 3rd week action around the National Football League. Vince Cellini and Mark May have the stories covered, and Ernie Johnson is with us. He'll have tonight's stars from Minneapolis.
And with 2:40 remaining in the ball game, I think the Vikings have to think about, hey, they have 2 downs to pick up this 10 yards. You don't necessarily need to get it all right here.
Four-man rush. Moon. Reed. Almost broke it open. 1st down at the 34.
Boy, as he had a good game. His 6th catch of the afternoon or evening for Reed. 87 yards. He's caught a touchdown, and that was a perfect read and throw by Moon. It's R-E-A-D, not R-E-E-D.
I caught you.
Yeah. That's good offense.
O-F-F-E-N-S-E. Time has been called. TIME.
Rarely does someone go where no one has gone before. Rarely does someone accomplish what has never been accomplished before. Rarely does an automotive system achieve a combination of advantages never achieved before. But when it does, the world tries to follow. The North Star system by Cadillac, creating a higher standard.
A bowling ball, a pineapple, a birthday cake, a Nokia cellular phone. One of these objects would make it easier for me to juggle my schedule.
He's a juggler. You're not. Pick up a Nokia cellular phone to help you juggle your schedule. Nokia, largest European cellular phone manufacturer, now in America.
No matter where I park, it draws a crowd. It's a 55! It's a 55! 55. 55. This is one of the last real classics of our time. What do you think of the bumper, huh? Everything's original. And I take care of it myself right down to the oil and the Purelator filter. Pure oil now! It's a 55! So when someone asks me how I've kept up the engine, I just show them the Purelator. Pure oil later. I don't think it all fit. Legends live. 55! Purelator, Purelator.
2 minutes remaining in this one. Warren Moon and the Vikings have a first down and 10 at the 34 of Dallas. They used a timeout earlier, so they have 2 remaining. The Cowboys back home against Arizona next week. The Vikings' tough road continues. They go on to Pittsburgh. They're hoping to go in with a victory, and they need a touchdown. Now the guy's looking for himself on television, and he doesn't realize he's already been on. David Palmer is in at wide receiver, wide to the right side. This is Cris Carter in motion. Again, a 4-man rush. They go to the left side. They catch Larry Brown.
It's interference.
No flags?
No.
Wow. Whoa.
Unless Larry Brown had his head turned, it looked like interference, but he has his head turned, and he called incidental contact. Watch Larry Brown. This is a good matchup. Send a guy in motion. That's not. That's good defense.
Yeah, sure is. And Jake Reed had a little claw action there.
Yeah, he got his head turned. Yeah, right there. There's the claw. Pulling the Drew Pearson on him, wasn't he? They're paying him back after 20 years.
It's Nate Wright and Drew Pearson. 1975. Bring on the leisure suits.
That's a hell of
I noticed. 2nd and 10. Left side. Caught at the 33. It'll be 3rd down. Dixon Edwards with the tackle.
Okay, again, Vern, in that 3rd down situation where, you know, you'd like to get the 1st down, but you don't have to. You don't have to. 3rd about 6. But if and when they get an next 1st down, I think they want to take a couple of shots at the end zone because it gets very, very difficult to score on the Cowboys inside the 25.
86 seconds to go. 3rd and 6. Moon. What a pass! What a dandy pass! Moon to Reed.
That's beautiful. Dandy, beautiful, whatever you want to call it. That was absolutely spectacular. Clutch play. Battling the Cowboys. Knowing Haley's coming in on you. You know Haley's going to get single blocked. And he finds the big old 6'3" Jake Reed. A perfectly thrown ball in between 2 defenders, working on Larry Brown as they have this 2nd half.
Clock still running, 40 seconds to go. 1st and goal from the 10. Oh, how about that? Now will they use the timeout? Yes.
Yep. Well, I don't like to see that play. You know, I just don't think they're going to run it in from there, Vern, and now they have 3 downs left. I would have much rather seen them use the timeout then early before that play and then take 4 throws in the end zone if necessary, because their key players are Jake Reed and Cris Carter. It's not that run from that far out.
Yeah, they tried a little deception with the draw play on 1st and 10. Brian Billick, Cris Carter.
See, Carter just said to Billick, I can run a fade. fade route is when you get bump and run and just kind of run by him, you throw the jump ball.
Cris Carter's made a living running the fade route.
He has.
He's about as good at that, or was and has been, as anybody in the league.
Well, you know, he's one of those great loose ball receivers. You know, you throw it up, and he's going to have a pretty good chance of going up and getting it. Now, the Cowboys know that, too. I mean, the Cowboys and Dave Campbell, the defensive coordinator, if you're Dave Campbell, you're going to take Cris Carter away. But you know what? Again, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, the first guy you're looking at is Cris Carter. Force someone else to beat you, although Jake Reed has done it in the second half.
Reed's trying. Watch for Carter in the fade. He's on the right side. There's the fade. There's Cris Carter. Touchdown! Oh, man!
Well, he came to the sideline, and we saw him say to Brian Billick, I can run a fade. And that was a little fade adjustment. They got the bump and run, the good throw. They gave him the chance. You give great players a chance at big moments, and oftentimes they come through. And Cris Carter's been doing that virtually his entire career. On Clayton Holmes, you see the bump and run? So he fakes the fade, and then he kind of works his way outside. And that's a great catch, and a clutch catch. And they'll go for one and the tie.
Mike Morris is the center. Mike Saxon is the holder. Fuad Reveiz will try and tie it up.
Wow, that was one clutch drive.
Great pass, Moon to Reed. Terrific pass, Moon to Carter. Saxon to hold. Mike Morris snaps it. This is for the tie. We're notched at 17.
There were 2 overtime games today in the NFL. New Orleans, and Atlanta, and the Raiders, and the Chiefs. And here's the pass. You're right, this was a real good throw. The one to Jake Reed was even better than the play earlier. But that's a heck of a catch.
That's not a bad catch at all.
Not bad coverage, but sometimes you're just gonna get beaten. And Warren Moon threw it away from the defender, and Cris Carter made an adjustment while the ball was in the air. That's fun to watch. That is fun to watch. He's kind of a low-key guy, isn't he?
Cut from the Philadelphia Eagles, where he played for Buddy Ryan. He told us again yesterday that Buddy Ryan did him a favor. He bears him no ill will. He said he grew up a lot after he was released. He had no place to go. He signed in Minnesota, thought it was going to go well here. They told him it was going to go well. First thing they did is put him behind Anthony Carter. And he was told at one time by a coaching staff that is no longer here, as long as Hassan Jones and Anthony Carter were here, he would not be a starter. Now he is. 122 coach catches last year, and he's got 5 tonight and the touchdown for the tie.
And that touchdown, though, that opportunity was set up because of Jake Reed.
Right.
The big night that Jake Reed has had, and they couldn't double Cris Carter on that play.
30 seconds to go in regulation. Brock Marion, Kevin Williams are deep. Fuad Reveiz will kick it off. And he launches one. He launches one. Oh, boy.
You know, I was just going to say, because Kevin Williams last year returned 2 kicks for touchdowns. So the launch was needed there.
30 seconds to go. Aikman.
Well, they have 3 timeouts remaining in 30 seconds. And you wonder how Barry Switzer is going to play this. Because Barry Switzer this year is the pitcher of record. Last year he was kind of filling in. But he is the pitcher of record, and it's his decision now. You play in the overtime, or to give your experienced players a chance with 30 seconds
Well,
with 3 timeouts.
He said the second year is a lot easier than the first. He's adjusted to his players, and they to him. First down and 10. Screen pass. Oh, Emmitt Smith is wrapped up and dropped at the 15. Jack Del Rio, the one-time Cowboy. Now I think they're going to let the time go.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can fool Jack Del Rio once, and maybe you fool him twice, because they did on 2 screen plays. But on the third one, you don't. And Broderick Thomas, I think, was a part of that as well.
We're going to overtime. These two teams came into the NFL. They were awarded the franchises in 1959. The Cowboys played first in 1960. Minnesota started its play in 1961. The first game the Vikings ever played was an exhibition game against the Dallas Cowboys in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. 4,000 people showed up. We've got 60,000 on hand tonight.
And they've seen a little bit of everything. I mean, they've seen some good defense. They've seen some real good special teams. I mean, some good plays, some bad plays. It's been an entertaining night for football fans here in Minneapolis.
Jack Del Rio and Billy Bates.
And one guy's got blood on his elbow. The other guy's got sweat all over him. And even though they're playing indoors, it looks pretty good.
Cowboys win the toss. They will receive. We're going to commercial, and then we're coming back and going into overtime. 17 all.
Lower your right foot and repeat after me. I promise to be free. I promise to be different. I promise to take the other path. I promise to be unique. I promise to drive an Eldorado with a 300-horsepower Northstar V8, a suspension that reads faster than Evelyn Wood, and a body that parts traffic. Eldorado with the Northstar system by Cadillac.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here
Oh, doesn't have to be.
And now the starting lineup. That groom from Texas, Billy Clyde Humphrey. And at Bride, a 5'6" debutante from Alabama, Nell Peterson. The Humphrey wedding brought to you by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good. The vows are up.
I do.
I do.
And they're good. Whoa, Nelly.
That was beautiful, man.
How do you know if something is fruit?
Well, is it wholesome?
Is it natural?
What about variety?
Is it homegrown?
Is it sweet? Is it fresh?
Did you wash it? Then it's fruit.
Fruit of the loom, always in season.
Back under glass in downtown Minneapolis, Dallas and Minnesota 17-17. 2 timeouts per team, and the first team to score wins the ball game. This is the 3rd time these two teams have gone into overtime. Dallas won it 16-10 in 1977. The Vikings won it 44-38 in 1988.
Now, we looked at the touchdown a couple times to Cris Carter, but here's what set it up. A throw under duress, as good a throw as you can possibly make. Catch by Jake Reed. Carter came off and said, I can run the fade. I can run the fade. He ran the fade. He scored. Tie ball game.
Extra point by Reveiz with 30 seconds to go. Warren Moon composed.
Yeah, really. Michael Irvin composed for Michael.
That's right.
That's the way he always is.
These two teams, as we said, came in to the league 35 and 36 years ago. Dallas leads the overall series 11-7, and the Cowboys have only lost in Minnesota twice in all the times they played here.
Now, if I'm the Vikings, I'm trying to kick the ball away from Kevin Williams. Don't let Kevin Williams beat you this early in overtime.
Well, Fuad Reveiz got the touchback last time out, 72-yard kick. This is a good one, but it will be returned. Williams at the 4. Out to the 26. All in all, pretty good coverage.
Yep.
And Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and the Dallas Cowboys come back on the field.
Well, we talked about Aikman. He can struggle some as he has tonight. This has not been his best performance, but with one play, he can end the game. I mean, he has that kind of ability. He's that tough, and he doesn't get discouraged.
Eric Williams on the bench with the pull calf muscle. Ron Just like that.
And again, you know, the toughness of Troy Aikman. I mean, he just was under duress again and took a shot. I mean, he is part flannel suit or shirt and part tuxedo. I mean, he can be tough and he can be classy and play with finesse. And very few guys could do this.
I think you've just composed a country western song.
Did I?
Yeah.
Part flannel shirt, part tuxedo?
Lyle Lovett will put it to music next week.
Maybe, maybe.
First and 10 at the 49. Aikman left side. At the feet of Darryl Johnson.
You know, for the Cowboys, they have to be concerned a little bit about their kicker, Chris Boniol. I mean, missed an extra point, missed a very short field goal, and now he may be in a situation to win the football game. He's had one in his career a year ago against Cincinnati.
John Baker is the kickoff specialist. Boniol has been suffering from a strained quadricep muscle. I don't know if that affected him tonight, but that's one reason John Baker is still on the roster. Here's second down, Emmitt Smith. Gets to the 47-yard line. Ed McDaniel, number 58, with a tackle. It'll be third and a need probably of 7 by the time they spot the football.
Now here's where the offensive line has to give Troy Aikman some time, where he has been under duress almost this whole game. Barry Switzer said to us yesterday, he's wishing now, see, very close his eyes and wish.
Right.
He said to us yesterday, if we can protect Aikman, we have a chance on their corners.
Fleming and Novacek come near side. It's third and 6. Irvin, Williams right side. Aikman back across the middle. Corey Fleming to the 30-yard line.
And that's a big play for the Cowboys. And Corey Fleming's a guy last week against Denver, dropped the Hail Mary pass at the end of the half, and Ernie Zampese was saying, hey, we need Corey Fleming to play better. Well, here in overtime, he did. But it started with the protection, Vern. Very good protection there for Aikman. It's an easy throw there to Fleming.
A gain of 17 yards. And now Boniol is going to start pacing the sidelines. First and 10 Dallas. 17-17 in overtime. Emmitt Smith, watch out. This could be over.
It is.
Touchdown, Dallas. A 31-yard scamper for the guy that Pat feels is the best running back in the league. What a comeback from a fumble that angered him for much of the night. 150 yards for Emmitt Smith for the evening. And he wins it for the Cowboys with a 31-yard run in overtime.
And he's the best runner, and he's the best fourth quarter player too. And now maybe the best overtime player. Watch the left side of the offensive line. And you're going to see a guy that has made one big play after another, even though he struggled. He had 3 big runs, long runs. He didn't even have to have his belt thing done. Maybe
his belt thing.
The belt thing is his belt or whatever it is.
Oh boy, the fashion police in the league are going to find him for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know, watch the left side.
At least
2
it's
and
not
8.
a swoosh.
It is. There you go. 2 and 8, sealed off the inside, and Emmitt saw it, he felt it, and then he outran Charles Mitchell.
It was a close call. Which would come first, the touchdown or the possibility that his pants were going to fall down? Emmitt Smith, 31 yards. Toughest tackle provided by Michael Irvin.
Today's cars and trucks are more advanced than ever, but there is a price. Their harder working engines can wreak havoc on a motor oil, breaking it down almost immediately. That's why Castrol GTX provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol, or your harder working engine could make things hard on you. Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown. Now get $360 cash back when you buy a case of Castrol GTX or Syntec.
So, there's a new kind of fruit? Is it tough? Is it slippery? No. Then what's new about it? Oh, I see. This fruit won't shift, ride, or bunch. Hey, it's golden. The new Gold Series. It's fruit you can wear. Fruit of the Loom. Always in season.
It's Saturday afternoon, almost game time. The TV's on, your feet are up. You've got the remote control in one hand, a great tasting ice-cold Miller Lite in the other. And somehow nothing really captures the perfect feeling of the moment. Quite like
Raymond the Talking Goat.
Life is good.
The NFL on TNT has been brought to you by Cadillac and your local Cadillac dealer. Cadillac, creating a higher standard. By Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown. By Red Dog Beer, bold yet smooth, unusually easy to drink. You are your own dog. And by the only fruit you can wear, Fruit of the Loom, always in season. Cowboys win it in overtime, a 31-yard toss, or rather run by Emmitt Smith. And did he or did he not get in?
No, we took a look at it. He did. You're going to see as his left foot hits the pylon, which is part of the goal line, he's in. Didn't go out of bounds there. Actually, it's his right foot. Excuse me. His right foot goes in. And that is a touchdown because the end line goes all around the world. It's an imaginary line.
And the suspense on Emmitt Smith's 31-yard run was the fact that his belt had come loose. Which would he make it? We now discovered the real meaning in football of a dangling participle.
We had the gerund, we had everything. We had participles. That's it.
We had Emmitt Smith rushing for 122 yards in the second half. He was 8 for 27 in the first half. He is a terrific football player, and you do not shut him out. He is our Cadillac player of the game. 150 for the night, a 7.5 yards per carry average, 2 touchdowns, and a big second half that helps the Cowboys maintain their undefeated status. Once again, the final score, the Cowboys 23 and the Vikings 17. Join us again next Sunday for NFL action on TNT, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern with the Coors Light Pro Football Tonight pregame show. Then at 8 o'clock next Sunday, we'll be in Jacksonville, where Brent Favre and the Green Bay Packers take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Stay tuned now for the Steel postgame report. Ernie Johnson joins Mark May and Vince Cellini with a complete wrap-up of the third week in the NFL. For Pat Hayden, I'm Vern Lundquist saying good night from Minneapolis.
One U.S. airline can fly you to more European cities than any other. Delta Airlines. You'll love the way we fly.
My biggest asset's my people. They're experts in solving your problems.
This is Ron Camerata, Federated Store Manager. He's been in the parts business 31 years.
Federated has the quality products, quality people, and we're very competitive. Customers call, they ask your advice, they ask your help for things. That's part of being a store manager. And that's rewarding because they know that you've gone out of your way to give them what they need.
When you want the best parts and expert advice, go to your Federated Auto Parts store.
The load in that quarterback's pants is brought to you by Greg Lloyd and his Brutus Lowe, who remind you that players are made in the preseason.
Before introduction, a Moen faucet is tested at least 500,000 times against leaks and drips. So it's hard to find a more reliable faucet, no matter how you look at it. Moen. Buy it for looks. Buy it for life.
If you want to know how good life really tastes, you need to wait a few years. Caffeine-free Diet Coke. No caffeine, no sugar, no limits.
The following is an exclusive presentation of Turner Sports.
If we have moved to the cushy chairs on the set, you know it's time to put a capper on the Pro Football Day Week 3. Hi, I'm Vince Cellini, and welcome to the Steel Post-Game Report. You just watched the Dallas Cowboys beat the Minnesota Vikings 23-17 in overtime on Emmitt Smith's touchdown, 150 yards rushing. And call me crazy, Mark May, but I think Emmitt may have a little bit of business to take care of with Jerry Jones. Concerning reopening the contract, I don't know.
I think tomorrow morning, the first thing in the morning, what Emmitt's going to do is he's going to go to Jerry Jones' office and say, Deion got $35 million, I'm due for 36.
I'll tell you what, he deserves whatever he gets. Some teams maybe didn't deserve a win that won games today. It was a wild Week 3 in the NFL. Some teams were pretty fortunate to come away with victories.
Absolutely right. Today was a day where it's better to be lucky than good in the NFL. Some teams botched opportunities, missed field goals, had crazy turnovers today, but were fortunate to pull it out in the fourth quarter.
I'll tell you what, the San Francisco 49ers left no doubt in their game that took place at home against the Pats. Yes, the Patriots at San Francisco. They were supposed to play there on October 22nd of 1989. The game was shifted to Palo Alto because of an earthquake at that time. Well, today they got together at 3Com Park, and that's Drew Bledsoe. And Drew Bledsoe facing another pretty tough team. He's nailed by Kenny Norton there in the first quarter. Had to leave the game because of an injury to his left shoulder. That was his mind. He was a little concerned, but don't be. Scott Zolak at quarterback to Curtis Martin on a 4th and 1. And he's stuck by Merton Hanks. So Parcells needs help. He needs his kid back in there. And Drew Bledsoe did return to the ballgame. Second quarter, and the Patriots are driving. Third down on the 49er 25. Bledsoe's pass is knocked down by Alfred Williams. They put pressure on Bledsoe all day. The Pats had to settle for a field goal. 3-0. Under a minute to go in the first half. Out of the no huddle, look at Young to Jerry Rice. 21 yards in the score, 7-3 49ers. On to the third quarter, and Young and Rice picking up where they left off in the first half. They connect on this 16-yard touchdown. And this is George Seifert. He's jumping for joy. It's 14-3 49ers. And Bledsoe, he's having trouble with the Niner defense. Merton Hanks comes up with 1 of 2 interceptions for him. They were trying to go to Brisbee there. And Bledsoe, just another rough afternoon. Points-wise, personally as well. Steve Young, he's doing it through the air from 1 yard out to sneak for the touchdown. 21-3 49ers. And then Young flipping to Derek Lavelle with a 3-yard touchdown. 284 yards passing for him. Steve Young is all pumped up about it. And I'll tell you what, out there at 3Com Park, Dion Hu become a rallying point. 28-3 San Francisco. The final numbers. Young had 3 touchdown passes. He ran for the other score. The Pats still have only 1 touchdown this season, failing to score on 6 drives inside the San Francisco 25. Here's your fantasy numbers. Jerry Rice. He's Mr. Fantasy League. 6 receptions, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. Lavelle, 58 on the ground, 42 through the air. And here's Curtis Martin, 63 yards. All right, want to go back up now to the Metrodome in Minneapolis, where Ernie Johnson is standing by with a guy who ended the ball game for the Dallas Cowboys and won it. Ernie?
Thank you very much, Vince. Here with Emmitt Smith and Nate Newton, 2 of the members of the victorious Dallas Cowboys. In overtime tonight, 23-17. Right off the bat, guys, we want to look at the game-winning play and have you guys describe it for us as we look at it from the end zone angle. Emmitt, it's all you as you tell us about the game winner.
Yeah, Zach Del Rio was on the line. I actually bounced outside, inside the block, cut up inside. It was nothing but room. He basically had everybody up on the line, and from that point on, just a foot race.
Nate Newton, your take on this. I know early on you were involved, and then it was everybody was watching 22 from behind.
Yeah, definitely. What I saw was we was going to call a bump play to go down on the center man, but they stepped up to the line, and I just grabbed the first man I saw and held on, and Emmitt jumped outside.
You know, there weren't a whole lot of folks that thought this thing was going to go to overtime. They thought Dallas will come in here, they'll take care of business. A little tougher, but maybe you guys weren't exactly clicking. Did you feel like things were a little out of sync tonight?
I think we definitely didn't play as well as we would like to play, but you know, you got to give those guys credit. They put their pants on the same way we do, and they're professional athletes just like we are. So you know, you can't take nothing away from them. They played a great ball game, and we just didn't execute like we wanted to, but we went out there and did enough to get the job done.
Nate, you must know that when you come out here, any place you visit as the Dallas Cowboys, that you're marked guys, and this gets everybody pumped up, from the fans to everybody on the other side. How do you deal with that?
Well, you know, when they first told me they don't lose in the Metrodome, we were like, okay, here we go again. They pumped up, but we had to stay settled. We had to believe that we can get it in the end. And when it went overtime, we felt we had it with Emmitt back there.
Well, you know, Emmitt, I think you finally let yourself smile. You were pretty game-faced out there, even after you scored. And I know there were times when you came to the sidelines, and I thought you told Barry Switzer, I've been open on plays all night.
I have.
And that's what you told him. And what did Barry say to you?
He say, just be patient, he'll find you. And, you know, it was sort of disappointing for that, not only for me, but everybody. I think we didn't, like I said, we didn't play as well as we like to, but we went out and executed it well enough to win the game, and that's all that counts.
Disappointing or frustrating? Was it a frustrating game for you tonight?
It was a frustrating game, because once you see an offense, once you know that you can click on all cylinders, and you come into a game and things are just falling apart in small portions, and you can't really put a finger on what's going on or what's wrong. And, you know, you're struggling, and you're really not giving your best performance. You're trying hard physically, but things just not falling your way, and that's just the way it was for us tonight.
Nate, will you tell me what it's like, what kind of feeling you leave a ballpark with after a win, after you've blocked for this guy? You see the fruits of your labor pretty much on a 31-yard game winner like that.
Well, you feel good, but like Emmitt said, you know, things was frustrating. We would drop a pass, we'll miss a block, we'll mess up an assignment. So you know, it gets kind of frustrating, but when we win, we've been taught when we win, we go in and watch films on Monday, correct our mistakes, and try to win better next time.
And, you know, you mentioned the fumble. Does that stick with you, or as a professional, can you say, okay, hit me the next one, Coach?
Well, it sticks with me. I mean, my job is to carry the ball, not lay it down on the ground. And, you know, when you fumble the ball, and if you're fumbling a lot, you won't be in the NFL for a long period of time. And, you know, my goal is to keep the ball in my hands and give my offense an opportunity to win the game. And, you know, I kind of let them down on that particular play, but, you know, we was able to bounce back and, like I said, put the ball in the end zone and score enough points where we could win the game.
Nate, did this game tell you anything about the Cowboys that you didn't already know?
No, it just tells us that we got to come even more prepared. You get more prepared during the week, because everybody's going to be pumped for us. We didn't win the Super Bowl where everybody's still pumped.
Hey, you got some buddy ball next week, huh?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Restrain your enthusiasm.
Don't get in easy,
all right.
as you can tell.
Emmitt Smith, thank you very much. Nice ball game. Thanks for joining us. Nate, thanks a lot. Yeah, they got some Cowboy fans up here at the Metrodome. The Vikings fall to the Cowboys in OT 23-17. Let us go back to Atlanta, Vince.
Thanks, EJ. Cowboy fans everywhere. You know, Mark May used to have arms as big as Nate Newton's at one time.
I wish.
All right, back to the 49ers and Patriots game. And New England has to really be concerned now. 1 touchdown in 3 games. They've made 15 trips in the red zone and come away with 1 touchdown in 3 games, Mark. Well, how do you break out of that, first of all?
Well, this is a situation that Coach Bill Parcells has to be aware of. First, the offensive team may lose their confidence. I've been in this situation before, the Washington Redskins. You're moving the ball inside the hashes from 20 to 20, but you're not scoring points. So the offense has to get their confidence back. You've got a young quarterback in Drew Bledsoe. He's thrown 149 times, but he's the only starting quarterback in the NFL without a touchdown in the air. So he's got to get their confidence back. He's got to build it up this week. He can't tear down their confidence. He's got to get in there and tell these guys, hey, you can do it. We're going to run reverses. We're going to run screens. We're going to put this ball in the end zone, but you guys keep your head up. It's very easy for a team to lose their confidence in that situation.
Well, I'll tell you what, the guys who made it happen and made those guys struggle from the Patriots, the San Francisco 49er defense. They're an underrated bunch at times because they have so many spectacular players on that 49er offense. But our Craig Sager was in 3-Count Park and took a look at that Niner defense and what they did today.
The defending Super Bowl champions have been on the defensive lately, and that has brought out the best in them. With a quick, aggressive attack, the 49ers forced 4 New England turnovers and displayed the mental and physical toughness that has made them #1 against the rush.
Defensively, we like games like this. We like to get our chance to show that we can play ball. So often you talk about Jerry Rice and what the offense can do. games like this, we're tested. I think Bill Parcells came out and he really tested us, and offense wasn't clicking early, and defensively we got our chance to really show ourselves, and we're very, very proud about what we did today.
What sets the 49ers defense apart, besides the obvious, which is talent, is desire and consistency. Under new defensive coordinator Pete Carroll, there's a single-mindedness of purpose, which today was to keep Drew Bledsoe out of the end zone.
I think we went into this game trying to confuse him because he's still a relatively young quarterback, even though he's a great quarterback. And we were able to get him off his first read, and that was really key in this game. And the entire defense, the defensive line had great pressure, and we were able to cover some people every now and then. And came up big when we had to. That's a hallmark of a defense that's getting better every game.
Bledsoe was intercepted 3 times, sacked 4, and he fumbled once. The most devastating hit by second-year linebacker Lee Woodall.
Well, the biggest play of the game for myself personally was sacking Bledsoe. I mean, I had even thought about it last night. I wanted to get in and do a blitz and, you know, get to Bledsoe and, you know, be on a highlight film or do something different. But that's the main thing for me. That was a big play for me today.
For the 49ers, the building is never complete. The quest never ends. And to the dismay of their rivals, it appears that the defense is even better than a year ago.
All right, thank you very much, Craig Sager. 2 other teams had a chance to get to where the Niners and the Cowboys were at 3-0 now. One of them, the St. Louis Rams. The other, the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, one team held up its end of the bargain anyway. We have the Rams at the Panthers, and the first ever game for Carolina at home. They're playing at Clemson Memorial Stadium, and what a big day as the Commissioner Paul Tagliabue was there to throw out the coin toss. And scoreless in the second quarter, Chris Miller, the confident Chris Miller, to Isaac Bruce. 38-yard game. Bruce is putting together a year. He had 5 catches for 100 yards in this one. And that set up this 2-yard touchdown run by Jerome Bettis, the battering ram near the goal line. 67 yards on the ground for him. Coach Rich Brooks' team is up 7-0. Later in the second, Jack Trudeau is in for the ineffective Frank Reich. And the first play, he is sacked by Carlos Jenkins. The ball recovered by Kevin Carter. The Rams forced 2 fumbles and 5 INTs. 3 plays later, Miller to Jesse Hester, who turns Rod Smith inside out for the 23-yard touchdown catch. Chris Miller is loving it. 14-0 Rams. And the Rams defense in control. In the third quarter, Willie Green fumbles. Anthony Parker recovers. He's going the other way. 27 yards for the touchdown, 21-3, Rams completely in control. Later, Kerry Collins was at quarterback. They played everyone on the roster at quarterback. This is his first pass, and it's picked by Doran Dorn, who returns it for the touchdown. 31-3 at that point. Collins was sick about it. 31-10. The final numbers, the Rams host Chicago. They'll try to go to 4-0 next week. We'll give you the fantasy numbers in this game. For St. Louis, we showed you 67 yards on the ground for Bettis. Hester, 54 yards on 3 catches and a touchdown. McLaughlin missed 3 field goals. Could have been worse. Collins, we saw his numbers when he got in there as well. Cincinnati Bengals, Seattle Seahawks at the Kingdome. Quarterback Jeff Blake has led the Bengals to their first 2-0 start in 3 years. After a Seahawks touchdown, Blake to Darnay Scott. And look at this. He just finds some room and explodes through Seahawks. 88 yards for the touchdown, and that tied the game up at 7 apiece as Scott blazes to the touchdown. Second quarter, Rick Meyer really came alive in this game. They've been struggling through 2 games. Winds and throws to a wide-open Rob Thomas, who got behind every Bengal. 14-7, Seattle out in front. 21-30, 279. A couple of scores for Meyer. In the second half, the Seahawks are up by 3. Chris Warren with the football. And Warren breaks out. That put him over 100 yards for the game. Did that touchdown. Now, 2 minutes left. The Bengals had a chance to tie in a 49-yard try by Doug Pelfrey. He made 6 field goals against Seattle last year, but he has 2 misses today. 2 costly misses, so Dennis Erickson and the Seahawks, first win of the season, 24-21 the final numbers. Here's the fantasy stuff. Warren on the ground, 109 yards and a touchdown. Blades, 7 for 74 yards. Pickens, 8 catches, 88 yards. He's now caught a touchdown in 8 straight games. All right, Mark May, what about these Rams, though? I'll tell you, Rich Brooks, they're not spectacular, but they do force a lot of turnovers, and they don't give up the football.
The Rams are doing it the old-fashioned way, by hard work. I talked to Jack Riley, their offensive quarterback coach, yesterday, and he informed me that the Rams are using the Washington Redskins' Joe Gibbs philosophy of the 1980s. You get a big fullback, You use the one-back offense, and you just beat up the defense so they can't rush the quarterback. Chris Miller's the quarterback. He's running inside and outside, running dash plays to surround the pocket to get outside of it so there's no pressure on the quarterback. On defense, they're putting all kinds of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. They have a lot of sacks. They had 7 defensive turnovers today. 24 out of their 31 points led to those scores, and they lead the league with 12 turnovers. A plus 12, that's amazing. I can't remember when a team led the league with a plus 12 turnover.
I'll tell you, when you don't beat yourself, you always have a chance to win. Just mistake-free football, it'll keep you in ball games. All right, we do have to take a break on the Steel post-game report. Coming up, an in-depth look at perhaps the best division in football, the AFC West. Speaking of which, Oakland at Kansas City. Hostetler, Marcus Allen. This was wild and an overtime finish.
The Steel Pro Football Tonight post-game report is brought to you by Steel Outdoor Power Tools and by Auto Value Parts Stores, where you'll find the parts you want at the value you expect.
There aren't many things that can stop a 4x4. There are even fewer things that can stop a Steel. No wonder it's the #1 selling brand of chainsaw worldwide. Available in Steel territory.
Son, head over to the Auto Value Parts Store and get the starter and the plugs.
They've got what you want at Auto Value right now.
Plus, brake pads, a color TV, and a trip or two to pro football's biggest game.
It's the Big Game Sweepstakes at your nearby Auto Value Parts Store. Pick up your free registration form at Auto Value and register for Auto Value's Big Game Sweepstakes with hundreds of prizes, including a trip for 2 to the big game.
Hurry up. We're talking the biggest game of all.
Be a Big Game Sweepstakes winner at Auto Value.
When I punch the clock, I'm a working machine. I got moves to do the job. Got my Wolverine. I can tame a wild jackhammer. Rewrite miles of interstate. I can work like hell, never get the blues. 'Cause I feel like heaven in my Wolverine boots. Wolverine door shot. Guaranteed comfort for your money back. Work like hell, feel like heaven. Wolverine door shot. Made in the USA. You got the winning color.
I run my engine anywhere from 8 to 10 hours a day, and that's constant. I've been using Pennzoil a little over 20 years, and Pennzoil has always stood by me. It's never failed me.
Now with the revolutionary Pennstar molecule, Pennzoil clings to moving parts. Works like liquid ball bearings.
Pennzoil says it works like liquid ball bearings. It must, because it just keeps on rolling.
Engine problems? Before you try a tune-up, try Gum Out first. The solution could be less than $5.
There's a little terminology for you. We're going to do a bump in, and we're vamping right now on the Steel post-game report. Larry Cam, he's flying that boom cam like it's the Memphis Belle. Here's the AFC West. We think it's rather interesting, don't you? Kansas City out to a 3-0 start. Look at the 2-1s there. Only Seattle at 1-2. But you know what? Maybe they're not too bad. And speaking of the AFC West, one of the classic AFC rivalries got even better with the Oakland Raiders traveling to Kansas City. It harkens back to the days of the AFL. This one had a bizarre finish to it as it went to overtime at Arrowhead. Want a subplot? How about Art Shell? 27 years a Raider in some capacity. Offensive.
Been good in the NFL, and Kansas City's both lucky and good. As you can see in the picture right here, Tim Brown gets picked by the referee. And out 23-17, and just win, baby, win. Sometimes you got to take it on the chin, big guy.
We're sorry, Al. 23-17, as Steve mentioned, 11 of the last 12 now the Chiefs have taken against the Raiders. Marty Schottenheimer is 7-0 all-time at home against the Raiders. Marcus Allen goes over 15,000 yards in his career, the 5th player ever to do that. Dawson with a touchdown, Davis with a touchdown. For Oakland, 20 rushes, 74 yards for Williams, and a couple of scores. Yes, this game, emotions running deep for Art Shell, and our Kevin Kiley was there as Shell shared with him some of his emotions after the game.
Did you get a sense for the rivalry from this side?
Yes, I did. As soon as the game against the Giants was over last week, you could see the mood change, like Dr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde. The change and the attitude was just totally different. I mean, it was awesome. And so now I got a feeling as to how this team prepared for the Raiders in the past years. They love playing the Raiders. They really do. They love playing the Raiders because, you know, they just believe that the Raiders are supposed to be the best, and they're supposed to have the best talent, and they like to meet that challenge.
Was there pain for you emotionally in this?
No pain. I mean, I'm a Chief now. My loyalty is with the Chiefs, and I want to help this football team win a Super Bowl championship. And we're on the right foot. The main thing is the attitude in this football team is outstanding. These guys believe they can win. Even though the experts have been picking them to come in last in their own division, they can't believe it. But it doesn't matter what people say about us. The feeling is we know how we feel about ourselves, and we're going to find a way to win football games.
Special? Is this special? Was it a special feeling at the end?
It's a special feeling. It's special. It's special because we're 3-0.
Can you describe your feelings when you saw him?
I'm with the Chiefs now, and the Raiders, as I said, I had a lot of good years there. I had a lot of good years as a player, and I had a couple of good years as a coach there. But I've moved on with my life, and
can you put it behind you?
Can I put it behind me? Oh yeah, I'm a positive thinker. I believe in moving forward. I will move forward. You don't forget the past. I mean, the past is there. It's part of history. But I will move forward with my life with the Chiefs, and I will relish the time that I have with them.
Is there anything left to speak out about with the Raiders? Is there anything else you'll ever say about it?
No, as far as I'm concerned right now, there's nothing to say.
All right, thank you, Professor Kiley. We want to go back up to the Metrodome now, and Ernie Johnson standing by with a guy who had a pretty heroic performance to send the Dallas Vikings game into overtime. And now the football analyst is going to give us a first-hand view of what happened. EJ?
Thank you, Vince. 22 out of 38, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns for Warren Moon through the air tonight. But, boy, the feeling right now has got to be tough to deal with.
This is when it's tough to do this job, when you have to come out after a game like this. I thought our team really played hard. They gave everything they had. They played physical football. We got some big plays, but it just wasn't enough. And they're a great football team. You got to give them a lot of credit.
There was talk, and in fact, you said it yesterday. You got to play a perfect game if you're going to beat these guys. But still, even without a perfect game, you had a chance to win this thing.
Well, yeah, they didn't play a perfect game either, and some of that was because of us. So, you know, when two teams get together like this that are very good physical football teams, which we both are, that some good things and some bad things are going to happen. And when you get into sudden debt like that, you never know what's going to happen because one big play could make the ball game, and they made some big plays, and that was really the difference.
I want to take you back to late in the fourth quarter, and you guys are driving and trying to get the equalizer here, and you're at the sidelines, and you and Cris Carter are over there. Let's take a look at this tape, and you're talking to Brian Billick, and you'll watch, you can watch him. Billick say, a fade? This is what was, I mean, I'm reading lips. Is this true? Is this Carter's idea? Let's throw a fade on this thing and get the equalizer?
Yeah, he wanted to throw a fade, but I wanted to throw the fade stop, which is a ball where I throw it at Chris's back shoulder because the way they play bump and run, they play over the top. And I threw the ball at his back shoulder, and Cris makes the...
I mean, that's a heck of an adjustment to make. I mean, you got to know the fade stop is coming over the wrong shoulder.
Right. He gave me the signal that he was going to run it, and we went ahead and did it, and he made a great catch. I had tried it earlier in the ball game, and it just went off his hand, so I know I had to throw it a little bit more at him down there on the goal line.
What's the mood like in this locker room right now?
We're very disappointed. There's no question about it, Ernie, but we realized that we played hard, and we left it all out on the field. Now, when you know you do that, there's a little bit of satisfaction there, but we still lost the football game. What we can't do is get too caught up in this one loss. We have a very tough physical game next week against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. So we're going to be disappointed for a day, but we've got to somehow regroup and get back and ready to play again next week.
What was your take on what the Cowboys were going through tonight? It looked like they were out of kilter, out of sync a little bit.
They were, but, you know, some of that has to do with what we were doing. Tony Dungy came up with a great scheme against their offense. We knew because of our size, we couldn't match up man for man with their defensive line, so we had to shoot some gaps and do some different things, blitz every now and then to try and stop their running game. Sometimes you're going to stuff them. Sometimes they'll make a big play like they did a couple of times with Emmitt Smith. But you can't sit back and just catch this football team. They're too big. They'll knock you all around.
Have you seen enough of Charles Haley tonight?
I've seen enough of Charles Haley my whole career. I mean, he's just one of the best defensive ends in the league today. He's playing very well. Not only does he play the pass, but he plays the run. Just a very smart and intelligent player.
You know, we talked about the relationship between you and Cris Carter in our pregame show, but also the Jake Reed factor tonight was huge. He was right there when you needed him.
Well, they were rolling their coverage a lot to Cris tonight, and what they were doing was leaving Jake single on the backside a lot of the time. So a lot of the times I just came to Jake on the backside, and he's so big and strong he can bully most defensive backs he plays against, and came up with some big plays tonight for us.
What's encouraging about an overtime loss?
It's really hard to say. I think the biggest thing that we come out of this game with is that we didn't give up and we played hard and we left it all out here. If you can do that as a professional athlete, there's not much more you can do. You know, you're going to always think about things you could have did right and did wrong, but as long as you know your effort was there, I think that's the most important thing you can come out of any loss with.
Warren Moon, your workday is done. Thanks for joining us in the tough luck tonight. Warren Moon and the Vikings falling in overtime to the Dallas Cowboys. Back to Atlanta, Vince and Mayday, guys.
Thanks, CJ. Oh, come on, Warren. Can't you stick around a little bit longer? Just another half hour. Want to work you a little bit more. Let's go back now to the Chiefs and the Raiders game. And Art Shell, as head coach of the Raiders, at times criticized that his team underachieved when he was head coach. And just, you know, your take on this whole thing and how special this was for Shell.
Well, it's very special for Art Shell as a head coach. He spent 26 years of his life with the Oakland Raiders. When he dies, he's kind of bleed black and silver. But you have to look at it this way. Art was in a different position. He was the head coach of the Raiders, which means before he could pull the trigger on any major decision, he had to go to Al Davis.
Okay, now on the other side of the coin, the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's Steve Bono, 14 career NFL starts. He's got 4 fourth-quarter comebacks now, and that's pretty positive. And this guy is no Joe Montana, but I'll tell you what, he's 3-0.
Oh, without a doubt. You can build on these things for the rest of the season. This is something you can take to the bank. They've got confidence now. Last week they were down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, came back to win against the Giants. Today they were down in the fourth quarter, came back to tie the game. They blew a chip field goal shot of 24 yards that sent it into overtime. Marcus Allen fumbles the ball inside the 40-yard line, and they still win the football game. So they can build on that. They've got confidence. They know down the road Steve Bono will lead them to victory.
All right, let's stay in the AFC West right now. And it's one thing to be booed in Philadelphia. That's happened to everyone from Mike Schmidt to Santa Claus. It's another to be benched. Randall Cunningham was walking that fine line. Rodney Peete was ready. And so were the visiting San Diego Chargers at the vet. Hey, Randall, for once, please stand up and take charge. Please, for once. Just one time. Scoreless in the first. Look at Leslie O'Neal just overpowering the rookie Barrett Brooks, and he puts a lick on Randall Cunningham. But Cunningham showing some guile there, and on the touchdown drive, a flip to Ricky Waters from 5 yards out, and that made it 7-0 Eagles. There's the Charger GM and personal friend of Mark Mays, Bobby Beathard, looking on. He's got a pretty good ball club.
He kept me in the league.
Yes, he did. Stan Humphries back to pass. That ball was jarred loose, and somehow it's going to be knocked back to Humphries. So that was just a pretty weird play. Things would bounce the Chargers' way. They got a field goal. It was 14-10. And then look at the hit late on Calvin Williams. Willie Clark got him, and Junior Seau, who had never scored an NFL touchdown, finally does right there on the fumble return. 17-14 Chargers in the second. Eagle coach Ray Rhodes, he's a little concerned, but he's keeping Cunningham in there. And Randall, under pressure, hit by Sean Lee from behind, and Chris Neal Cunningham, and that cut it to 27-21. Same score in the fourth. Eagles driving. Leslie O'Neal. Look at Brooks. He's having problems again. Randall gets by him, but look at the lick Junior Seau puts on Randall Cunningham. Slams him down, and Randall could not rally the Eagles back as the Chargers go on to win on the road, 27-21. The Eagles have lost 5 in a row at home. You want some fantasy numbers? Here we go. For San Diego, Jefferson, 4 catches, 67 yards and a touchdown. Humphries, 143 passing and the score. For Philadelphia, Waters, 76 yards on the ground. He caught 6 for 19 yards and a touchdown. Redskins and the Broncos, and easily the best game of the day. This at Mile High Stadium, and Norv Turner, is scrappy young team. Well, I'll tell you what, they took the Broncos absolutely down to the wire. Here's a kind of a frightening moment. Shannon Sharp goes down after being tripped up by Rod Stevens. X-rays on the ankle, though, were negative. More on that in a minute. 3-0 in the second quarter. Denver leading. Redskins run the option. And Brian Mitchell, a 36-yard touchdown run, longest of his career. 7-3 Skins. And the Broncos can't believe it. We couldn't believe it. 17-7 Denver in the second. Coming back are the Broncos. 21 answered points in the second quarter, capped by this Terrell Davis touchdown run. Apparently fumbled before the goal line, and the Skins recover, but the ref said, no, that is a touch. He crossed the goal line, 24-7 Denver. Skins strike back. The rookie Michael Westbrook. What a great catch here, 45 yards from Gus Farrat. That set up a Farrat touchdown pass. The Skins were trailing by 10. Hey, Norv, what's up? Denver up by 7 in the fourth. Skins driving Farrat. His favorite target, Westbrook. His kid's all over the place. Another great catch. And that set up points. Farrat to Scott Galbraith, 1 yard out with 1:07 left in the fourth quarter. It was tied at 31. And under a minute left in the game, John Elway, oh, he hates comebacks. He hates when he has to come from behind. 25 yards to Ed McCaffrey with a catch. And then with no time left, on a fourth down situation, out of field goal range, Elway steps up, and look at this. Rod Smith leaping over Darrell Green for the touchdown with no time remaining. A dramatic catch. It's Smith's first ever NFL catch on a 43-yard touchdown that wins it for Denver, 38-31. 35 fourth-quarter game-saving drives now in Elway's career. He threw for 327 and 2 touchdowns. Farrat threw for 3 touchdowns as well. So, you know what? That guy might have to play quarterback no matter what. Fantasy numbers, Terrell Davis, 13 carries, 68 yards, and a couple of scores. Marcus Allen, 18 rushes, or Terry Allen, rather, 18 rushes and 92 yards there. And Mark, what do we got? Where are we at here? Oh, San Diego. That's where we were. That's where it's late. San Diego, all right, the Chargers, and, you know, going up there, and here's a team that really had no respect as the AFC champion, but they go up and score a win there, and a great job by the San Diego defense.
Oh, an excellent job by the San Diego defense. After getting blown away in the Super Bowl last year, they made a lot of changes on defense. Junior Seau's first statement was, hey, we played soft on defense. We can't do anything better. The thing that they did is they went out, they got Dave Adolph. They changed their defensive philosophy. They revamped their secondary after Jerry Rice just scorched them in the Super Bowl last year. They bring in Sean Gale, Bo Orlando to their secondary, and they also are starting a rookie back there, Bernard Shaw at cornerback. So they revamped their secondary. They're getting more aggressive on defense. They're moving Junior around, inside, outside, blitzing, putting pressure on the quarterback. They're more aggressive this year. They're playing better this year, and they're going to sneak up on some teams in the AFC West. Everyone's forgetting about them because they got routed in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Denver with that dramatic win, but they did pay the price. Shannon Sharp has the sprained left ankle, Miller bruised ribs and a concussion, Mike Pritchard bruised left knee, Ed McCaffrey suffered a concussion on that final drive, so they did have to pay the price in that game. All right, coming up on the show, much more on the Steel postgame report, including the Buddy system working in Pontiac. Buddy Ryan looking for that first win. Ditto the Lions. Barry Sanders with an uncharacteristic mistake late in the game.
Some would say going 100,000 copies without an unscheduled service call is impressive. Sharp would say, it's a beginning. Sharp. Call for your free interactive kit of copier solutions.
Thanks to Sprint Business, there's a company who does more business in skis.
Sprint gave us an edge.
Sprint worked with Volant and brought them real solutions to help them get ahead, so they can check orders online from anywhere and promote new products through video conferencing. Now they do business a whole new way.
And sales are really soaring.
We'll help your business do more business. Call Sprint Business.
Sharp has something to help you succeed in business. It's cutting edge, high speed, and extremely interactive. It's your authorized Sharp dealer. Sharp. Call for your free interactive kit of Sharp solutions.
Before NYPD Blues. The sexiest cop on TV was Captain Bubba Skinner from In the Heat of the Night.
Our 1993 Toyota Camry. Phone numbers again after 7 p.m. 436-1994 or 436-8319 during the day. Next up, you have a family? Here's your family car, and what a nice one it is, too. A 1990 Dodge Caravan. It's got an automatic air conditioning, cruise, factory warranty still on this vehicle. It's a one-owner, and they say it has low miles on it. Here's what they want, $8,800 for a 1990 Dodge Caravan. Dodge, hey, they're the one that started all with the minivan. There you go, the 1990 Dodge Caravan. Here's the numbers to call. At night, you can call 436-6523, or during the day, you can call 439-0129. $8,800 for the Dodge Caravan. And I want to just